Welcome back, guys, to a special edition here of the Sebypodcast show. My next guest here is a former alum of the Tennessee Volunteers. She played under Keely Harper in her second season as the Volunteers head coach and the 9th overall pick of this year's WNBA draft. Rennia Davis is with us here. Rennia, it's a pleasure to have you on.
We're gonna have to work on that pronunciation.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to work on that. But
Rennia, yeah.
Rennia, just if you can, just talk to me a little bit about the kind of the transition to the WNBA. How have you been getting acclimated to this new life?
It's a little different than I initially expected. Obviously, because I'm injured right now, so I'm not able to play technically. So from that aspect, I'm not really sure. But as far as like day-to-day life, pretty similar to college. Just I would say less demanding from other people and more demanding from yourself. So in a sense, like you're not so much on the schedule, and like anything extra that you need to get done, whether that's conditioning, weights, or rehab, whatever you need to do for your body, you do that on your own. That's not scheduled. So you're professional. That's the biggest difference if you have to carry yourself like a professional.
Making the transition from like the college game here to the pro game, obviously there's a lot of like things that go into it. Who are some of the vets that you're looking up towards?
I got a pretty strong vet core. I'm playing with Sylvia, Fowles, one of the best to ever do it. So that's big for me. I mean, although we don't play the same positions, it's a sense of winning the championship in the WNBA. Obviously, that's not something that's easy to do. She's done it multiple times. So just to be able to play with her and then, all of my coaches have won championships, so that's another plus. So I've just been soaking it up from everybody around here.
You spoke about just some of your coaches as well as the vets you're playing with now. If you can, could you just share some of the wisdom that you just been being fed over your course in the WNBA?
Sometimes you just get so much information at like so many different angles. It's just hard to kind of pinpoint. But I'll say like the biggest thing, kind of what I said earlier, is just carry yourself like a pro. And that might sound cliche, but it's actually like a standard that you have to hold yourself to. Like you no longer have people monitoring your every move, because in college, those people telling you exactly what to do. As a professional, you gotta hold yourself accountable. So it's just a different level of like relying on yourself, I guess you could say, which not something that's hard for me because I always, been that way, but it could be hard for some people for sure.
You came into the WNBA as one of the most versatile defenders, 6'2", with a long, like 6'7" wingspan, being able to switch 1 through 3, right? Being able to guard elite guards and being able to guard elite 2s and 3s. Why do you think that's been so successful for you guys, being a member of the Minnesota Lynx?
Just being able to guard multiple positions. And that's really the 1 through 4, not just the 3. So I really have to guard some of the smaller post players too. And even some of the bigger ones, I always have to use my speed and agility to get around them, to figure out different ways to guard them too. But it's just a matter of now I can get in multiple spots. It's not really more so like I'm restricted. I can do multiple things. So if coach need me to do one thing, and we got somebody else that's not good at that, I can do it. Or if I need to do something else, it's just always been an option. So I think that's good because you don't have to. If one thing is not going, it's something else that you can do to contribute to the team. And in scoring is something that's not always in your control. So being able to do something on the other end of the floor, that's super important for me.
How much better will you be defensively once you're able to play? I mean, you are soaking up this game. I see you on the sideline. So talk to me a little bit about that.
It's just like you said, I'm soaking it all in. It's just crazy. Like I'm seeing from the sideline the best women's basketball players in the world up close and personal. Like, yeah, it's one thing to watch them on TV, but to actually be there and to actually envision yourself, like, where am I going to fit in? Like, what am I going to do when I get out there? You actually can see it. You can put the pieces together, like, right there in person. So it's huge for me. Obviously, my injury, it can be looked at as a setback, but I think I'm learning a lot during the process, and that's definitely one of those things.
We know about a few weeks ago, in fact, last week, Liz Cambage, the center for the Las Vegas Aces, she had that altercation with the Connecticut Sun head coach, Curt Miller, in regards to her size and her frame. Now, growing up, my mama always told me never to ask someone about how much her weight is and whatever and stuff like that. And I know women are very, very sensitive about that, especially being a center with that type of size. And obviously Curt Miller, you know, he was pretty upset about a foul being drawn against Liz Cambage, claiming that she was 300 pounds, which she publicly came out and said that was 235. So what's your stance on that about like head coaches? And we see that too in the NBA, where like fans and head coaches try to get away with a lot of comments and stuff like that. What's your stance on that?
I can't really speak too much on that because I wasn't involved in that situation, but I'll say just from a general standpoint, everybody has their own opinion about a lot of different things. I mean, we might not agree, but I do think it's time and place. I don't think you always have to speak your opinion. You know, some things, you know, you can keep it to yourself. I was always taught that too. So it's just like, just knowing your surroundings, knowing, you know, the context, obviously knowing certain subjects, like you said, are more sensitive to certain, you know, groups of people. So just being aware, not being ignorant to certain things, that's super important.
Do you think we will eventually transition into a space in which much bigger athletes who are women are just more respected? We talk about big guards, we talk about LeBron, we talk about Giannis, and they have all this size. But when we see women athletes, it's not as coveted. But being a bigger guard and long and having that lip like KD, when are we going to get to a point in which we can respect that?
And that's a good point, and that's a good question. I never even thought about that because we do boost LeBron for being so big, and you know, then we go on this Cambage, and it's like it's a problem, but it's just like it's double standard. But it's not just in sports; it's in life in general. Like women versus men, like women are held to a different standard for whatever reason. You know, society just holds us to a totally different standard. And I mean, as a woman, we're more than capable of upholding those standards, but it's, you know, why does it have to be made so much harder for us? Or why is it always negative spotlight on us? You know, why can't we just be, you know, just whoever we are? Like just be content in that. I think males have more of a privilege in that area. So hopefully we can work on that and get to it. But I mean, it takes a lot of different things to get in motion for that.
Pat Summitt, obviously she wasn't your coach, but what does it mean as in terms of the University of Tennessee? The name Pat Summitt, it holds a lot of weight on that. You weren't coached by her, but just talk to me a little bit about that, because I know that weighs a lot for the University of Tennessee.
Yeah, Pat Summitt was pioneer for women's basketball, but it's not just at Tennessee. It's women's basketball in general. And then again, it's basketball in general. It's just the impact that she made on the sport as a whole. And then for women's rights, she just did so much for the game. You know, you had no choice but to respect her. And luckily, you know, she just coached at the University of Tennessee, so her energy just fluctuates throughout the university. She's talked about every day. Anybody, you know, you can start a conversation about Pat Summitt at any given moment with anybody at the university. So it's just cool. It's just a cool experience. And for her, like, you know, a lot of things she did, like she was alive to just see how many people like care about her, talk about her, like praise her, worship her. It's like, it's insane. Like, I really wish I would have got to meet her, but unfortunately I wasn't. But it's just insane, like the energy that surrounds her name.
And since we're talking about just legends and heroes and things of that nature, is there anyone in particular that you look up to, whether both just NBA or, you know, WNBA, that you are just like, I am pulling from this player constantly?
Not necessarily. Like, I have a few players that I like to watch in the NBA and in the WNBA. But I can't really say that I model my game after one specific player. Because then again, like we were talking about earlier, CB, like the versatility, like I'll just, pull some stuff from some guards, some stuff from some post players, some forwards, like just mix in different stuff from a lot of different players on the men's and women's side.
That's pretty awesome. As in terms of like the WNBA game, in you playing the role, is there anybody like coming into the league that you mimic your game towards, like you looked up to, that be like, you know what, I want to be similar to her, but perhaps better than her? Who's that person?
Obviously going to Tennessee, Candace Parker was my thing. She's a big guard too, just like me. I mean, she played in the post, but I think she's a big guard. Like, and that's does similar things to what I would
playing style.
So she was definitely one of the first players. If we're talking about current players, but my first favorite player was Lisa Leslie, and that's because she could dunk. Like, I just thought that was so cool that a woman could dunk. So that was my favorite
player. You came off the gate with the Lisa Leslie, just legendary, right?
Yeah.
Legendary. Speaking of Candace, I was just recently talking to someone about this. Just her longevity in the WNBA, going on, I believe, 13 years, their 13th season in the WNBA. What steps are you taking to ensure that your career will be a long one?
Yeah, that's a good point, because Candace always talks about recovery. Mm-hmm. Like, every time me and her talk, or if she'll talk to the team, she usually comes back and visit Tennessee at least once a year. But this past year, she had to do it via Zoom because of COVID. And this past year, obviously, I was getting ready to go into the draft, so my ears was a little bit more open in the first 3 years. But she really talked about recovery and, how she eats and sleeps and everything she does routinely to make sure that she has that longevity that she was talking about. So for me, like, I just try to take, some of those key points away from her when she does talk about those things. So recovery is huge for me. Obviously, I'm not playing right now, so I can't run and get up and down. So I'm basically just rehabbing my foot right now. But typically, cold tub, cryo chamber, hot tub, Normatec boots, all of that stuff is like typical for me. I do all of those things, whatever, for my body to stay fresh. And then having to go right overseas when this season is over, like, it's going to be very, very important that I make sure I'm doing what I need to do. So obviously I'm going to learn, because in college I had somebody to do that for me. So I'll learn as I go what works for me and what doesn't. But I definitely want to get into some type of routine when it comes to that.
Speaking of Candace, because you mentioned that's one of the persons that you look up to. Last year she was Defensive Player of the Year. We've seen her in television rights with TNT. Obviously, she's a gold medalist twice with USA Women's Basketball. She's a WNBA champion, and stuff like that. So off the hardwood, when it's all said and done, do you also want to be able to have managerial rights, perhaps be a coach someday for women's basketball, or perhaps be on TNT or like ESPN, UW, perhaps? Is that something that you see yourself doing in the long run?
Yeah, so ESPN and TNT and all that TV stuff, that's not for me. But I can do some coaching. I can see myself coaching. I probably wouldn't coach professional. Probably wouldn't even coach college. Probably coach some kids. Like, I like kids. I'll probably just coach them, let them have fun a little bit out there, have fun, like, interacting with them. But no TV stuff for me. No TV.
Let's talk about you being one of the 7 WNBA players being signed to Nike. Talk to me a little bit about that. That is so profound.
Yes, thank you. That's tough. Like, that's something that's similar to being in the WNBA right now. That's just something that's like a dream come true, almost. Because not everybody gets to say, oh, I'm sponsored by Nike, or I signed with Nike. Like, that's not something that comes out of everybody's mouth, or they have the privilege to say. So for me to be one of those 7 rookies that, Nike, wanted to sign and represent, like, that's huge for me. Nike is a huge brand. Nike is, getting more diverse and getting more into women's sports. So to be considered, one of those first group of people, women that they were after and targeted, that was huge for me.
Speaking of Nike, obviously that's a prestigious thing, especially being a rookie. We see guys like Draymond Green in the men's game and Jason Tatum doing commercials with Subway and stuff like that. Talk to me about the challenge doing endorsements and also being a ball player in the WNBA. How that dynamic has been, whether good or a little bit challenging for you.
Yeah, so interesting that you asked. I just signed with my marketing agent earlier this week. So as far as commercials and endorsements and stuff like that, that's something that I'm literally just now getting in the process of. And it wasn't something I was really in a rush to do, especially after I got injured. I wasn't so much pushing for it, but now, getting closer to my return, hopefully, I want to start getting that stuff up and running. As far as the t-shirt and logo thing, that's pretty basic. I feel like everybody does that pretty much. But as far as commercials and all that other stuff, that stuff is in the works. But just common sense speaking, I know it's not as easy for us to get those same endorsements that the men's get on their side.
Mm-hmm. Is it a little bit of a relief on your side, knowing that these companies are looking at you, and you don't have to solely rely on basketball?
Yeah, I don't have to solely rely on basketball, but obviously the better I'm doing in basketball, the better everything else kind of goes for me. So, it means a lot, but at the end of the day, like you said, I don't have to solely rely on basketball. I have contracts signed with people that, if I stop bouncing the ball today, there's still obligations that have to be made. So I have streams of income coming in from other places that's not just basketball. So that means a lot. And it first off means a lot for me that my income is coming from basketball, which is something I love to do. It's not something I'm just out here doing. So it just means a lot. I'm just living right now, soaking it all in. So it's just been great.
I want to bring it back to the Minnesota Lynx here. Obviously, there's other vets on the team. You have Professor Collier, you have Kayla McBride, some of these other vets outside of Sylvia Fowles. Have you looked up to them for any advice, being a rookie this season, and perhaps whenever you get back in the hardwood, being able to impact the team, whether it be in the defensive end or even on the offensive end?
Oh yeah. I watch them in practice every single day. Kayla, or we call her K-Mac. So K-Mac, Fee, Aerial Powers, AP. All of those are great players, and they do similar things. So 2, 3, and 4 different positions they play. I can play all of those positions. So I definitely look up to those 3. I definitely watch those 3 probably the most in practice. And it's just, they've been in the league. So it's it won't hurt me from learning and taking a few things from them. So that's just what I try to do every day.
With you being the rook, is it appropriate to give your vets advice? Because I know you're watching a game again, you're soaking it up. So do you ever see something you're like, hey, check this out, come here, you didn't do this correctly, or I can give you a tip on that? Is that appropriate?
That question to me is it's crazy because the type of person I am, I won't say it. If I'm new somewhere, I won't say what I see because I don't want to step on anybody's toes or anything like that, blah, blah, blah. So I was like that when I first went to high school, first went to college. And each time I was like that, I found out that I was taking away from whatever team I was on, whatever knowledge I was withholding from the team or from that person. I was basically taken away from what we could have accomplished just by holding back. So now it's I'm not going to say every single little thing I see, obviously, because I am a rookie and I'm still learning and I'm still new. But if I see something, Sil is completely fine with me coming up to her and saying, this is what I see still. AP, same way. Like, I go up to you, tell you what I see. I told Fee something the other day in the game, like what I see. Like, they've been in the league for years, and I think that's a sign of a good team, though. Like, they cool with accepting, what I see. I am on the bench, even though I'm a rookie. I still have a basketball IQ. I still be playing basketball, and I'm on the bench. Like, I can see the whole game. So, I appreciate them letting me know, like, yeah, say what you see. And the coaches, they also encourage me to say what I see. So, I'm not going to be rah, super loud, but I'm definitely going to say it if I see it.
Talk to us a little bit about your injury right now. What's the progress right now? Are you able to get back to basketball activities? Are you running cardio? Are you doing ball handling activities and stuff like that? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my injury, I'm about at the 5-week mark of my injury. I think it's been about 5 weeks. Fractured my foot a while ago during training camp. And so now I'm in kind of like the recovery process of things. Went through some of the worst parts of it already, so that's good. So now we just slowly moving back into what we could. Last game, I was able to put on 2 shoes, so I didn't have my boot on last game. So I was excited. That was a big step for me. I've been wearing this boot for 5 weeks. I'm like over it. So, but we're just weaning on the boot. Some activities I can do without it now, so that's good. And then just keep checking on it periodically. You don't want to rush something like this back because it's a weird injury. So, when it's time, it's time. So I'll be ready when it's time for sure.
I know you will be. You definitely don't want to rush this thing. But if you can give us a timetable, what are the coaches? What are the training? What are the trainers looking at? If you can give us just
that's tough because it's like I could say a time, I could guess a time when I would come back, and then I go get a scan on that day, and it's not time to come back. So it's just tough to predict, but I do know my next scan is in a couple of weeks. That's all I know for sure and for certain right now. So hopefully those results come back positive, and then we can keep moving forward.
For sure. We know that the Minnesota Lynx, they're one of the best teams in WNBA historically, especially in the last few years. Slow start this season, but once you get back, what type of impact that you think you can give this team to kind of get back into the race, to be where, the Las Vegas Aces and the Seattle Stormers at?
I know you ain't saying these other team names on the phone. But nah. Man, I just think for me, especially being the only rookie, like, I'll give this team some youth, and it sounds like
some youth,
childish. Maybe it might sound childish, but youth, legs, go, sprint, go in transition, go, run, play fast, cause we're playing fast, but we're not playing as fast as we can be playing first off, and we're not playing as fast as our coach would like us to be playing. But that's not playing fast and out of control, but that's guarding for the possession, getting up, defense rebound, go, pushing transition, or, we take a good shot on offense so that we can go on defense, set it up. It's just some stuff right now we still working on as a team, which is normal because we're a whole new team, a whole bunch of new players coming together. So it's normal, but I definitely think I'll bring that. And then some versatility. Like I said, I'll be playing the 3 and the 4. So that'll be good. I can, bring that added. Obviously, rebounding, that's huge. That's extra possessions. So I'll definitely get in there, rebound, guarding, like y'all talked about, guarding whatever position they need me to guard. And then, they need me to score. I might can do that a little bit too. So, it don't matter. Whatever they need me to do, I'm ready to get back out there and do it.
Is there one team you're targeting and you're just like, I want to bust it right? I just want to give it to
Nah, I don't have no team that I hate just yet. But that's because I haven't played against them yet. In college I knew we playing certain teams I don't really, we're not messing with them. So we got But I don't have that feel yet because I haven't played against anybody. But we're gonna see. We're gonna definitely see.
She hasn't met her South Carolina or her Kentucky yet. That's
Man.
okay. She hasn't found that.
I can vouch for both of them. I can say both of them. I ain't really messing with neither one.
Well, this is actually our favorite time of the show where we kind of get into the interpersonal space of like our guests. We take it out of the hardwood and we start getting to know like some of our guests outside of just basketball. So this is Shanice's forte. So Shanice, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, we're gonna play a segment with you, and it's called Finish This. So I'm gonna say a sentence and you have to finish it, okay?
Is it a right or wrong answer, or is this whatever I say?
Just whatever comes. It could be a movie, it could be anything. So just be ready for this, okay?
All
All right. When I was young, I wanted to be.
What did I don't even want to say what I actually wanted to be because it's not even cool no more to be this. But I wanted to be multiple things. The first thing I ever wanted to be was a police officer. Yeah, I didn't want to say that one.
Good.
But whatever. It's the first thing I wanted to be because I just thought they was, I thought they was protectors. That's me. Thought they was, keep us safe, but whatever. That's another conversation for another day.
I got you. My fashion style is.
I would definitely say unique. I would definitely say unique. It's just whatever I want to wear. Like I don't know. Like I think everybody's starting to dress the same too, and it's like rubbing me the wrong way. So I would definitely say unique.
All right. Girls can't play no ball. Ball better than who?
Basketball. Okay.
Come on. When I was younger, I used to watch who? Which NBA player or WNBA player?
When I was younger, and still to this day, I watch LeBron James.
My late night snack is
Fruit snacks.
Which kind?
Any kind. I love fruit snacks.
All right, so I got a question for you. Who's the better coach that you played for? Is it Keely Harper or is it your current coach currently, even though you haven't played for him that much?
Dang, you coming out hot? What the question? I don't know though. That's a good question because I know that's some tea for real, for real. But no, I don't know because I haven't technically played for Coach Reed yet. So we'll see once it's time to play. We'll definitely see.
Off of the court, like when you're off of like the basketball court and you just by your space, you're getting ready for the game. What's the music you listen to? Is it Nicki? Is it Cardi? Is it Megan? What you listening to?
Man, neither one of them three. First off, definitely not before no game. Okay. But it depends on my mood. Most of the time before the game, I'll go like an old school rap vibe before the game. But coming in the gym just for practice or workout or something, you can hit some R&B on, some rap. You might hear some country. I mean, it just depends on my day. Like, we can hear whatever, honestly.
Okay. Figured out it's not a hot girl summer, but it's okay.
Nah, not me.
Off of that, well, what are some of your hobbies that you do off the court? Like when it's the off season and you're just trying to get your sanity back, you're in a good headspace. What's some of the hobbies that you're trying to get back to?
Yeah, so just to get my sanity back and just chill. I definitely like chilling with my friends. Like friends and family is like a big thing for me. So the people that's close to me, I definitely like to hang out with them when I can. I like to play cards. I like to play pool. I like to get in the pool. I like to cook. Yeah, like travel. I really like to travel and just go different places. I'm getting into trying different foods now because I'm about to go overseas soon. So I feel like it's time for me to start that. So I've been trying to try different foods lately.
Got me sold on that because I'm a foodie. I don't know where I'm a big foodie on that for sure. So that's pretty big. What are you currently binge watching? I know you don't get a lot of time because you have practices and traveling with the team. Well, obviously you're injured now, so you probably got a lot of team stuff you're watching. But what's the current show that you watching or movie that you watching right now?
Yeah, nothing. I don't watch shows. No, I don't watch shows at all. The only show I watch is SpongeBob.
Okay.
I don't watch nothing else.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, hey, it's been a pleasure to have you on. Best of luck to you on your recovery, and especially recovery to get back on the court. We're excited to see you on the court, on TV, for the Lynx. Right now they're on the bottom half, but we want to make sure that they get back.
Hey,
playoff
gonna move up,
get back, and we want to make sure that you get on there. You make a big impact for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate you having me, and Shanice too. She was here. She was cool. So yeah, I appreciate y'all for sure.